Welcome to Artists in Residences, the Westport Library's virtual artist series. I'm Carol Erger-Fass, exhibit curator at the library. Today's episode's a little different than usual. Although he's not an artist in the traditional sense, Bud Siegel's passion about Legos can certainly be considered an art form. As is often the case, when Bud retired from corporate life, he found himself looking for something new. And a Lego kit of the Taj Mahal caught his eye, and he decided to give it a try. The kit contained 4,000 pieces, and they were all white. He was hooked. After completing several more kits, he started getting really serious, seeking out individual designers and sourcing the parts himself. So it had started out as a 4,000-piece kit, had now blossomed into unique creations with up to 60,000 pieces, sourced from vendors all over the world. His projects range from major landmarks to vehicles to wildlife, all which have a place in his dedicated Lego gallery and workshop in his Westport home. So let's join Miggs and Bud Siegel and get a look inside this amazing space.
Well, thank you, Carol. I think it's safe to say this is probably will be our most unusual episode ever. Our guest is Bud Siegel, who's a retired businessman and artist. I consider him an artist, builder, contractor, and probably you will recognize many of the projects he's been involved in, you know, Taj Mahal, whatever. There's just on and on, but we'll get to that in a minute. So we're looking at Bud in his studio.
Hi, Miggs. How you doing?
Good.
Carol.
So this is sort of, this is where it all happens?
This is where I start off because obviously I have my biggest screen on my computer, so it's easier for me to work with. And so this is where I start doing all my logistic planning, etc.
How did this all come about? I mean, you it's a very fascinating story, and your house had to be altered to accommodate your passion here. So how did that all start?
Well, the short version of a long story is when I retired in 2009, I figured I better get a hobby, something to do. And having run a publicly traded company, I really was interested in getting away from being with a whole lot of folks, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I wanted to do something on my own. Since I am not what I would consider to be an artist, in so much as I don't have the creativity to do things on my own, I had to find something that I could actually follow. And for some reason, I saw a Lego box with the Taj Mahal on it. And I said, oh, this would be a good idea. Let me go try this. And at the time we have a 3-floor home, which was finished. And the bottom floor wasn't particularly used. So I figured I would go down, and there was a table down there I could use. And I started working with the Taj Mahal, which was roughly 4,000 pieces of Lego, all in white. And in those days, this was 2009, it all came in one big bag with a book on how to construct the thing. So I took the bag, opened it up, dumped all the things on the table, started looking at the book and went, oh my God, what have I done? And I didn't want to throw it away because my wife would say, once again, you started something, then didn't finish it. But finally I finished it, and I said, okay, I did that one, let's go do another one.
Right.
So I did a couple more of these over the next year or so. And then all of a sudden my wife said, you're starting to take over the bottom area of the house. And I said, oh, well, you know, I can fix that. And we had a roughly 1,600 square foot unfinished attic. So I said, I'll finish the attic. And she said, well, I want you to do that. There'll be people in the house, there'll be noise, there'll be this, there'll be that, et cetera. And I said, well, look, you know, you want me out of here, I got to go somewhere. And so finally we agreed on doing the attic. And then came the next problem. How would I get what I finished up to the attic? And I said, okay, I'll put in an elevator. And she said, and I have witnesses to this. She said, she said, quote, over my dead body. And of course, that to me was the beginning of the negotiation.
That was the incentive you needed. Right?
Yeah, well, you know, it all flows together.
Yeah.
Because you know, she wanted me out of one place agreed to send me to another place, the attic, but how do I get there?
Mm.
So, and get the stuff that I'd finished up there. So the deal we made was I would build the elevator outside the house, which is what we did.
You have, I think, a kind of a spreadsheet thing. It might be cool to look at for a minute or two on your computer to see what's really involved in the. I called you a contractor. I mean, you basically are sourcing. Now it doesn't all come. You don't just buy a bag and build it. I mean, you're sourcing pieces from all over, right?
What I'm doing now, which is roughly 59,000 pieces, which is St. Patrick's Cathedral in Dublin, Ireland. I bought from 77 different vendors, and it's 864 light items.
Wow.
And I just happened to look today, when I first started ordering for this particular project was April 23rd, 2020.
Oh
So we're now basically 10 months or 9 months into it, maybe a third through the build.
Oh my God.
So by the time, so the first pieces arrived roughly May 5th, 2020. The last pieces arrived August 15, 2020. So then when I get them in, I have to categorize them, count them, because what you don't want to do is start building, find out you're missing something, then have to order from someplace. It takes 2 weeks and you're shut down. It's like, working on a site.
Yeah.
A building project. You don't want to shut it down because time is, for me, it's not time, it's money because I'm retired, but it's, that I got to find something else to do.
Yeah, it's like building a school and then finding out the windows weren't delivered,
Right. And since you have roughly 864 light items, and you'll see what I do with them upstairs, half the time I don't even know where they are. So I've got them all on a spreadsheet and on an iPad. If I can't find something, I just go right on the little iPad and it tells me what bin it's in or what cupboard it's in, etc. So it's all part of the process. And, when I get all done putting the thing together, I'm like excited.
Yeah.
Not for the build, but that I accomplished this whole thing. So, it's all part of the process of doing the build, et cetera, et cetera. Et cetera.
Well, let's take the magical mystery tour up the elevator and
sure. Okay. Hopefully.
See what we're.
My wife's only thing about the elevator is she wanted a mirror so she wouldn't feel claustrophobic.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. I remember.
Now we get out of the elevator and we enter into the attic.
Amazing.
This is the front of the attic. This is for my grandchildren. And my wife, because when she comes in, all of a sudden her arms start waving all over the place. So I have to calm her down because God forbid anybody knocks anything over.
Oh.
Over here we have this. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah.
And actually it's far a distance away. And unfortunately I can't zoom it from the Zoom. And these are just some of the pieces because I think, Carol, you asked the question, do I just merely do box sets, et cetera? Over here, I did a bunch of birds, which I found someplace. Let me see if I can get over here.
And there's the Bugatti. That's the blue Bugatti in the middle there, right?
That's the blue Bugatti, which was the most difficult thing I've ever done because, number one, I'm not a car person.
Uh-huh.
And number two, you don't know if you made a mistake until you made the mistake. Then you got to basically go backwards to figure out what you've done wrong.
So Lego sells bird kits or you?
No, I found this in a magazine and I sent away for it. I think there's 13 of the one I couldn't do or one I decided not to do. That gets you kind of a better view.
Yeah.
Too far away from them.
That's all right. It's the horizontal view is better for our format. Oh yeah, there's a good close up. Yeah.
This was roughly 4,600 pieces.
Okay, 4,600. I can't. Where do they all go? The engine, everything. I guess.
And everything is in there.
Yeah. Geez.
And I made two mistakes that I couldn't fix. Unfortunately, they're on the other side. So no one can see them. But I know.
The Bugatti that in real life I think costs like $1.5 million, right?
The Chiron, yeah.
Yeah.
This car, I think it's called a Chiron.
Right.
Something like that.
Phenomenal. Okay. Well.
And then we have some other whimsical things than Django. etc. And up here, these little things are the little Chinese lines. Actually, the guy who I buy the stuff, the directions from, sent me those little lions.
Hmm.
And over here we have Titanic.
No.
Now, these birds were actually from Lego. They have a series where they have individuals create things for them. And this fellow created these birds. Then this little,
Oh, Yellow Submarine with the
yeah,
Beatles.
right.
Yeah.
Actually, the electrician who did this room gave me that.
Hmm.
I had hoped he'd give me something bigger for what the room cost. But what
Yeah,
can you do?
like the real Yellow Submarine.
You got it. Okay, so this room is roughly 1,300 square feet.
Mhm.
And it was a completely unfinished basement, wooden floors kind of poking up, wood rafters, uninsulated, nothing. And it was actually fairly easy to do once we figured out, because we could connect things easily. So over here, how would you like me to start? Over
Yeah,
here,
well,
work area?
we're near these little parts boxes. I guess that's part of where the bins that you.
Okay, over
right?
here is my work area, this
Okay.
desk here. So hopefully I can sit down without,
Yeah.
okay, we did that.
Good.
So here is the same screen that we saw downstairs on the iMac on a MacBook Pro.
Mhm.
So over here these are the directions I get. And you can see it's similar to those of you who do Legos. When you get your kits, they have books, and these are how the parts look.
Mhm.
But this is how it looks when I do it. So I do it off the iPad, because the beauty of the iPad is I can zoom in and zoom out.
Oh, yeah.
So I can see it's easier for
Oh.
me to do that than
Oh,
is to look at the books, especially when you get colors like reds and things like that. They all tend to blend together in a
Yeah.
book. So this is easier to do. I keep track of where I ended from the day on this pad. 302, you can see down here is 303. So I finished at 302. So this is where I'm going to start the next time I start building again. Over here is the iPad. So if I'm looking for a part that I can't find, for example, this fence here, it's a triple T. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah.
Okay, triple T. So I go over here and I know triple T
Oh my God.
is here.
Yeah.
So there's the fence. So we have all that. So when I started with this thing, it was 59,000 odd pieces. So I store here, here, down here, over here, over here, over there, over there. And then a lot of the bigger pieces are in these trays.
Just, I mean, it's so organized. This is off, but I'm just curious. Do you ever ask your wife like where your socks are?
Yes, I can find the socks because she puts them away and I know which drawer they're in.
I would think if anybody knew where anything was, it'd be you. Anyway, could we start? Let's take a look at some of the projects up close.
Okay, why don't we start over here and we'll work our way around a little bit. Oh, I don't want to go too fast.
No, you're good.
Here's the infamous Taj Mahal that started everything.
Yeah. Oh, that's the very first one. Okay. And they're
That's
all
the first one I did.
And they're all in white, which are those like the jigsaw puzzles.
It was a beast. I mean,
yeah.
You know, a lot of these things look great when they're done, but some of them are not as interesting to build as some of the other things. This was interesting only because I didn't know what I was doing. And like anything else, you know, once you do these things over time, you understand how they actually work and you become more comfortable with them. But needless to say, the first time I did it, I had no idea how it worked. So I became more stressed over this than anything I actually did probably in business.
Jeez.
Because I didn't know the function of it.
Sure. And there aren't the color distinctions
Yeah,
to make it easier.
And when you looked at the book, they all ran together, the whites. So you couldn't differentiate between the different pieces. Over here we have the Tower Bridge.
Oh, yeah.
This was fun, sort of. Had more color, different kind of structure, etc. Now we have the Sydney Opera House. These are all Lego from Lego kits.
They are really Sydney Opera. That's got some very irregular
You know,
shapes.
this was actually difficult with these sails because I
Mhm.
didn't really know how to do them right. I mean, now they would be easy for me, but then it was, you know, a little difficult. Then we have over here,
Oh, Big Ben, right?
Big Ben. This is also a Lego kit.
Is it a working clock in there?
No,
No, okay.
no. Some of the things I have actually are motorized, which I'll show you, but the clocks are
Okay.
not. This was something that Lego just did as a different thing, which is Manchester United's Old Trafford.
Hmm.
I have an affinity for soccer stadiums because I played through university. So whatever.
Hmm.
So I did that one. And this one, interesting enough, I bought the instructions for it, I don't know, maybe 5, 6, 7 years ago. It was fun to build. And then I still have a relationship with the team at North Carolina where I went to school. I showed it to the coach. And next thing I know, they build something similar to this at the university. So I said, "How'd you guys figure that one out?" They said, "Well, we looked at the design. The only thing they didn't do is they didn't close one end. They wanted to, but they started running out of money.
I mean, they built the real thing, or they built
They
the?
built the real thing. They
Oh, my
made it actually a men
Oh,
and women's soccer and men and women's lacrosse. Yeah.
amazing.
So they replaced
Oh,
where I played. Actually, it's the same grounds. It was then
yeah.
called Westport Field, which was they had a track around it. Now they took away the track and built the whole structure around the thing, which is actually quite beautiful. Seats about 5,000. Over here is the Creator Series of Legos. So
Oh,
these come out basically January, and they're buildings. I'm not really sure what it's all about, but I started doing these. And the fun part of all this is when I started doing it, I realized that I was about 2 years behind. So I had to buy 2 of them off of eBay to make sure I had the whole set.
okay. Is this sort of modeled on like Main Street Disneyland or something? Or, I mean, where are
Exactly.
these?
But it's
Yeah,
not Disneyland. It's I'm not really sure what the history of it is.
okay.
I mean, for example, you got a firehouse over here. You've got a grocery thing there. You got all this. You have a movie theater. So we go around here.
So these are
Hotel.
these are separate. You could move
Oh
the
yeah,
buildings
I
around.
put them together.
Oh, okay.
Some of them they attach.
Oh, okay. So
So
you
it's
could.
all part of what they call their Creator Series, and I'll show you the boxes where they come out
Hmm.
of. Because I saved all the boxes, and the mistake I made is Lego usually sells these for about, they have them on the market for about 18 months. And then they take them off the market.
Oh,
And all of a sudden, for example, the Taj Mahal, I think I paid $159 for it. At one time, if you wanted to buy it new, it would cost you $4,000.
whew.
And then Lego all of a sudden said, we'll take it out of the vault, they called it, and resold it for like $360. But of course, all the people who paid $4,000 were probably not very happy.
No.
So what I should have done, if I knew what I was doing, is buy 2 of everything, one to build and one to hold for resale.
Hmm. Oh,
But
yeah.
of course, I didn't know any of this because I didn't know anything about Lego at the time. So there's more of these. So these come out basically once a year, and they take me maybe 2 or 3 weeks to build. They're fun builds, but
Yeah.
as I said, they're not as detailed on the inside of some of the other things that I've done. These are new ones they've started doing, which I'm not as happy about because they're even less detailed of what the original creator. This is a garage, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. So then I lined them up this way. I've used butcher block tables because it's easier to shift things on the tables. And I have a fellow in Bridgeport who builds the tables for me.
Hmm.
He does terrific cabinetry work, and I think he gets insulted when I ask him to build me tables for my Legos, and probably charges me a giant premium
Yeah.
just to do it.
Oh,
Over here, and a lot of times I'll start doing whimsical stuff just because it's not that I get bored, but I like to do something different.
yeah.
So this is Ghostbusters,
Oh, how
and
cool.
this is a Lego set.
So it's the inside of the firehouse, like
Yeah,
the ghost. Oh, cool. I don't think I saw that when I was there. That's
well,
great.
it was here. Okay, and
Yeah.
this is a haunted house, which
Mhm.
came somewhat similar. Hopefully, you can see the details. It's unfortunately I can't zoom the thing.
Yeah, but I mean, you can just get closer, physically closer if you want. Yeah, like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that's yeah, that's
Now over here was probably the first time I started doing something with a third party non-Lego guy, and I found this fellow in Italy, and it's a what I call a faux French palace.
hmm.
This was his idea of what it looked like in the late 1700s. So I bought the designs from him, and actually I think I bought the parts from him. And this was 24,789 pieces.
Oh my Lord.
And it turned out great. It actually was kind of boring to build it because it's hollow inside. I mean, the
Wow.
floors were all done, everything else like that, but there's no furniture, there's no this or that. And a lot of these tan bricks became, after a while, they were driving me nuts because they're all pretty much similar. As you can see, if we can go in here,
Yeah, get in tight like that. No, that's great. We can see
you
the
can
yeah.
see it's all kind of the same
Mm.
stuff. But the roofs were interesting. I mean, as I started to uh, get more involved in it, I started, doing more difficult things. And this was probably my first one where I actually felt that I was, understanding how it worked.
Hmm.
And it was non-Lego, so from Lego Company. So you can see the backside of it.
Oh yeah. No. So are there, I don't know, I guess it's not black market, but are there people that make like kinds of blocks that, the Lego doesn't make, like, a certain kind of tile or a brick that,
Well, I'm not sure. Apparently, the Chinese have obviously started copying it
yeah.
and selling counterfeit things, but I don't buy any from them.
So you
Uh, all stuff I do is either Lego from Lego Company itself or people selling Lego bricks. There's a whole website that I use called Bricklink, which Lego has just bought,
oh,
which sells bricks on the secondary market, and it's terrific.
so what are we looking at in front of us that,
Okay, this is Gare Lyon, the train station, Lyon train station in Paris.
okay.
This was,
Hmm.
I did this the other day. This was 42,125 pieces.
Wow. Beautiful.
This was really difficult, and I'll show you why in a moment. Over here, we come around. I put my bike away, so hopefully I'll be able to tuck around. Was the roof.
Oh, look at that.
This was a beast, needless to say, because getting these things up on the angles, and of course, being a guy, I'm not terribly tactile, so half the time I would knock them over and break them when I was building them.
Oh,
So it was a lot of starting and stopping, and whatever. But once it got done, it was terrific.
yeah, it's phenomenal.
Over here, it has all the gargoyles and
What
all that.
what scale is there, a given scale, like, one?
I have no idea what the scale is, and
Yeah.
frankly, the thing that I find most interesting is how the developer or designer design the things
Hmm.
with the parts, the colors, and everything else like that. So and the designs cost $60,
Uh-huh.
and the list. I mean, it's incomprehensible to me how he does it for $60. How many can he sell? Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
I think he's missing the part of the business. He should also sell the bricks because that's where the profit is, not in the design. So I got to do this carefully so you can see the gargoyles, all the
Yeah.
intricacies.
So I have to ask a silly question. You know, my son, like most kids, you know, had Legos, basic Lego things. But if he did something wrong or he couldn't find a thing, he would just destroy the whole thing. He would destroy 3 days' work. He would just smash them to smithereens. Have you ever, have you have better control over your impulses? Do you ever get frustrated?
I did except for one thing. I did
Yeah.
a baseball stadium. I don't know why, because I never liked baseball.
Mm.
And doing the upper deck, I couldn't get the upper deck to stay as the upper deck.
Mm.
And I hate admitting failure.
Uh-huh.
So I took all the pieces, I put them in a bag, I put them in a dumpster someplace and pretended I never owned them. It was the only way I could rationalize it.
So you could build a dumpster out of Legos in your studio there.
Well, somebody just sent me a picture of it. Somebody built a Volkswagen van with 400,000 pieces.
Oh.
Okay, now I want to do this.
Okay. We got a few minutes left, so
Okay, wait a second. So down here is the inside.
Oh my God, it's got an interior. Look at that.
Oh yeah. And I also, in a moment of madness, had the electrician light this.
Oh.
So I'm not sure where the light switch is. It's probably in the front. But since we're running out of time, I'll move on to the more interesting things. So these are some of the whimsical things that these are Legos.
Oh, motorized.
These I motorized.
Wow. So those got to be, because those aren't geometric. I mean, the other things you kind of have a geometric logic to them, but
The little frame was difficult, but if you never knew if the tracks were laid out correctly until you finished.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that was fun. Then, I don't know if this is making too much noise. Then I did this. This is 43,893,000 pieces. This is Kumamoto Castle in the palace in Japan.
Oh.
Now what I've done here is I've split them apart so you can actually see the interiors. So conceptually, if you push them together, that's the way they should be. But you wouldn't be able to see the interiors.
Oh, it's a cutaway view. Oh, look at that. Gee.
So, and these were difficult because of the roofs.
Do you work on one project at a time, or do you switch back and forth?
No, one at a time.
And how long did that take? This
Probably 8 or 9 months.
Oh.
Then over here is the Opera House in Budapest. So this was 50,507 pieces. So this also is a cutaway.
Yeah.
What I've done is I've split them because they mirror each other. So you can see here's down the ballroom.
Yeah.
So up here, the piano, working studio.
Good Lord.
Unfortunately, you can't see back in here the dressing rooms and everything else like that. But you see the interior is much more sophisticated than anything you get in the Lego box sets.
Yeah.
So this is the exterior of the two buildings. So this one you have to conceptually visualize if you turn them around and face them.
Right. Now,
they would lock together, but if you did that, then you wouldn't be able to see the insides.
No. But it's just phenomenal. I can't even, I don't have the patience for, I can't make,
that's what it is.
I can't really make paper airplanes. I mean, you just.
It's basically patience is what it is.
Yeah, phenomenal. Was that your, before we wrap up here, I mean, was that kind of the key to your success in business? Do you think you were very, very patient, organized?
I was not patient. I was an A personality.
Oh, no. Okay.
I had to figure out how to learn that too. And this is the one I'm working on now. This is the 59,000 Alloy piece. This is the St. Patrick's Cathedral. This is probably about, I don't know, maybe a quarter of the way done. This is part of the first third. So here, if you pull these together, that's how it goes. So this is a work in progress. This is the tower that goes with it. And it's a non-working clock.
Yeah.
Here's actually the mechanism for the clock. This closes. Oops. Okay.
Yeah.
And this is where I'm working now on this. So here's the clock we just saw. It's a progress there. And this is what the finish is going to look like. And this will be the biggest one when it's finished.
And when's projected?
When I get done.
When you get okay, so you don't have.
Some days. Sometimes I never come up here.
Okay.
Sometimes I'll come for an hour. I mean, it's a hobby. It's not, Oops, sorry. So.
And like yeah, and like real builders, you don't get penalized for if you come in over budget or over past the deadline, right?
Exactly. There's no deadline, and I'm not an advocate of the pandemic, but it's a great hobby for the pandemic.
Absolutely. I mean, and you've been doing it before that. So anyway, as I told you, I think, I went to the Lego headquarters in Enfield, Connecticut years ago and got a little glimpse into that. They haven't even done anything as amazing as you have. They didn't then, I mean, it's just great.
And over here is my grandchildren, in case they ever see this.
Oh,
this is where they store their things.
Oh, so it's like a little play.
Well, it's a storage area for them. They can use, and actually I steal from it when I'm missing something.
Okay, we'll cut that out. Thanks, Bud. Thanks so much. This is just, I love it. I mean, I don't know, maybe, I don't know, many people share this interest. But
it brings out our inner childhoods.
It does, and it's play is great. Although this is more work than play, but it's and you probably, I think, real buildings are built in less time than it takes to put these things together because they're so intricate and detailed. But anyway, thanks for sharing this, and this is something the world, few people, myself included, have gotten to see in person, but it's not open to the public, and it's a great opportunity to share this. So thank you.
Great. My pleasure. Thank you.
All right. It just occurred to me, I wonder what Bud would look like if he was made out of Legos.
Wow. 800 line items, color-coded, sorted, and then you start putting the thing together. Oh, it's mind-boggling how much goes into each one of those creations. Thank you so much for sharing that with us today. For more information about all things about the library, check out the library's website, westportlibrary.org. And to see more Artists in Residences videos, check out the library's YouTube page, Westport Pub Lib, and search for Artists in Residences. Thanks, and hope to see you at the library again soon.